Okay, welcome to cycle 3, week 20. So we're going to start with timeline hand motions. So we've got Australia becomes a commonwealth, and it's kind of, so you have your thumbs and your middle fingers and you're picking. Australia becomes a commonwealth. It says flick both hands twice. So 1, 2. And then Mexican Revolution. So it was, I think she did. So you're pulling 3 fingers down your cheek. And then revolution is 1 finger and then the other one's revolving around it. Mexican Revolution. And then World War. So a W that you move sideways and then 1. And President Wilson, we're just outlining our eyes and pulling them into fists. President Wilson, Lenin and the Bolshevik Revolution in Russia, U.S. evangelist Billy Graham, G hand. And then modern period of the arts. The Great Depression, modern period of the arts. Modern period of the arts. The Great Depression. So modern period of the arts, your hands are like this. Great Depression, your hands are like this. Great Depression and the New Deal, like you're dealing cards. The New Deal.
Mexican Revolution, World War I, President Wilson, Lenin and the Bolshevik Revolution in Russia, U.S. evangelist Billy Graham, modern period of the arts, the Great Depression, and the New Deal.
Okay, now for math. We have the circumference of a circle equals 2 times pi times the radius. So we're going to do, last week we did little circle for area of circle. For circumference, we're going to make a big circle. The circumference of a circle equals 2 times, and then for pi, we're just going to hold up our little circle and take a bite of our pie, times, and then for radius we're going to do an R hand like we did last week. We did radius squared, so we're just going to do an R hand.
Circumference of a circle.
The circumference of a circle equals 2 times pi times the radius. The circumference of a circle equals 2 times pi times the radius. The circumference.
Tell me history. Tell me about Brown versus the Board of Education. So in 1954, in Brown versus the Board of Education, the U.S. Supreme Court. So we're gonna have a flat hand and we're gonna pound it like we're making a judgment. Ruled that segregation. We're gonna for segregation. We're gonna press our palms together and spread them like we're ripping something apart. That segregation of public schools by race is unconstitutional. We're going to wag our finger. Unconstitutional.
In 1954, in Brown versus Board of Education, the U.S. Supreme Court ruled that the segregation of public schools by race is unconstitutional.
In 1954, in Brown versus Board of Education, the U.S. Supreme Court ruled that the segregation of public schools by race is unconstitutional.
Okay, Latin, we're on John 1:6. There was a man sent from God, which is fuit homo missus ad Deo. So fuit is there was. So we signed that as there was. And then homo, man, missus, sent, a from A from Deo, yeah. We went like this, like it's coming from us. And then Deo, God. So we have fuit, homo, Mrs. a Deo. Okay, science. What do the heavens declare? The heavens declare the glory of God. The skies proclaim the work of his hands. I'm also going to say that the KJV says, the second part of that verse is, and the firmament showeth his handiwork, since we're memorizing in KJV for like all of our other memory work for when we do Genesis and Exodus, just because the ones that already did that know what a firmament is, so just throwing that in there. Anyway, so our hand motions are going to be heavens. We're going to put two hands up and then bring them down, heavens. The heavens declare the glory. So we're going to put the two hands, so hands up and down for heavens, hands back up, and we're going to spin them around for glory. Declare the glory of God. And the skies, we're going to sign sky. This is the ASL for sky. Proclaim the work of his hands. But we're going to sign make.
Heavens declare the glory of God. The skies proclaim the work of his hands.
For science, English, independent clause. An independent clause expresses a complete thought like a sentence. So for independent clause, we're going to do I see. And then for thought, we're going to do the sign for thinking. Two fingers up, and it's like our brain is moving, it's thinking. And then for sentence, we're going to sign the ASL for sentence, which is kind of like what we do for spirit, but it's like, this is our sentence. We're pulling it horizontally, like we're writing with two hands.
What's an independent clause? An independent clause expresses a complete thought like a sentence.
Last, we have geography, and we're doing canals. So all the canals we are doing, when I was researching how to do signs for these, they were actually made to get goods from the Atlantic coast to Ohio, because Ohio was blocked by the Appalachian Mountains. So it was really hard to get goods over there and very expensive. So they made all these canals after fighting the Congress and everything to get the canals made in order to get goods there. And then by the time they did that, the railroads were built. And so it kind of like made them null and void almost immediately after them doing it. So anyway, we're going to use the letter that begins the canal. We have Erie Canal, Pennsylvania Canal, Chesapeake and Ohio Canal, Ohio and Erie Canal, and Miami and Erie Canal. And we're going to use the letter hands of like the first letter to make it on our invisible map. We start with the Erie Canal comes out of Lake Erie. So we're going to just do an E and have it coming out of Lake Erie. And then the second canal we're doing is the Pennsylvania Canal. And that one comes from the Atlantic, so we have a P hand, toward the Appalachian Mountains. And then we go to Chesapeake and Ohio Canal. So we'll have the C hand also, it's just further south down here, going toward the Appalachian Mountains. And then we're gonna go over to the Ohio and Erie Canal, connects Lake Erie to the Ohio River. So we're just gonna have the Ohio one going down to the Ohio River. And then just if we go jog over a little bit down the Ohio River, the Miami and Erie Canal goes back up.
These are canals. Erie Canal, Pennsylvania Canal, Chesapeake and Ohio Canal, Ohio and Erie Canal, Miami and Erie Canal, Erie Canal, Pennsylvania Canal, Chesapeake and Ohio Canal, Ohio and Erie Canal,
By the time we do this, they will have already done the map a couple times, so they'll already have like a visual in their head to do it. So that's it for week 20.